Hello, welcome to the video, and the last video of 2018. Now you've caught me in limbo between Christmas and New Year. Sally's gone back to work and I'm home alone, so at times I'm a bit of a loose end, don't really know what to do. So I thought I'd make this last video, but not being at work, I've got no auction context and nothing really to talk about, no sale preview. So I thought I'd share with you a few items from here at home, a few things I've collected. But in order to do that, I thought I'd take a quick pilgrimage to my favourite local landmark. Roche Abbey for me holds a special kind of nostalgic importance. I've been coming here all my life. We came as kids on bike rides down here, used to play in the woods and amongst the ruins. We've had picnics here, just so many memories. It's just feels an important place. And on a day like today, it's so peaceful and tranquil. All you can hear is the distant waterfall and pheasants and other birds. It's just such a nice place to be. I remember there also used to be a Tarzan swing that me and my cousin Liam used to play on. So I'm going to see if it's still here. I mean, I'm not going to have a go on it, let's just see if it's still around. Well, you know, it's still there. I'm not sure if it's the same bit of rope or not. I'm definitely not going to have a go on it. I remember once Liam fell into that stream there and developed this weird rash on his foot. The day me and Sally found out we were going to be parents, I brought her here and we had a picnic right there. I'm not proud of this, but a bunch of us actually came trespassing one Halloween in the middle of the night, running around the ruins trying to scare each other with, you know, stories of strange ghostly monks. I'm really looking forward to the story coming full circle, and when our son's born, Sally and I can bring him here, you know, as a baby to experience Roche Abbey and then to grow as a young boy and just to enjoy this wonderful place. Now, the abbey was founded way back in 1147 and it stood for some 391 years as an abbey before being sacked in Henry VIII's campaign, his dissolution. So it's actually stood for a century more than it existed as an abbey, as a ruin. So we've known it as a ruin for much longer, and hopefully it will go on being cared for and being looked after way into the future, centuries into the future. It actually ranks in importance within the finest Gothic architecture in England. So how does all this tie in? Why did I go to Roche Abbey this morning? Why am I talking about the Abbey now? Well, the objects I'm going to show you three groups, and they're all linked to the Abbey. Now, the first is these prints behind me, which you've probably seen a time or two, right behind me and shot there. So those are two prints, both scenes at Roche Abbey. Now, these are two prints, but more specifically, engravings, copper engravings. So the artist takes a plate of copper, he hand engraves the scene onto the copper plate. That's then taken and it's given an ink treatment and that's impressed onto the paper. So you can see all around the edge of the paper there's this indentation line where the copper plate is pressed into the soft paper. Now you do get later prints of engravings, but there'll be an absence of that indentation line. So that's how you can tell a print of an engraving from an original engraving. As we can see from the outer edge, these were both published in 1785 by S. Hooper, but each one is by a different artist. So around the time of these engravings, the Georgian era, people looked on these old ruins across England and they were quite romanticised. And these ruins here at Roche Abbey in the Roche Valley were landscaped by Capability Brown. So as well as having this fantastic Gothic architecture, you've also got a beautiful Georgian landscaped garden. And it would have been a great place to go, as it is now, to go out and promenade. And on the above print there, we've got a scene of the gatehouse, and there's a few figures there, all in Georgian 18th century attire. Some of this landscaping included engineering a lake, the waterfall there. The Roman sort of water channels, they were changed into a river that flowed through the middle. And all the irregular walls were all levelled of the abbey, so Brown actually altered some of the abbey to give us these more sort of formal lawns. As I've said, they're by two separate artists. The one of the actual ruined abbey is by Godfrey, that's signed Godfrey, and the one of the gatehouse is by Sparrow. And of the two, the picture of the gatehouse is my absolute favourite. If we compare it with what stands there today, it's so accurate, so true to life. I think it's a real little miniature engraved work of art. And these were never intended to be framed and hung on a wall. They're actually plates from within Francis Cross's Antiquities of England and Wales. So at some point a print dealer has taken these volumes of works and broken them down, taken out the prints and framed them up and sold them individually. Now sometimes the prints individually can be worth more as the books, and that's sad because the books get broken down and they're sold off as prints. But sometimes the volumes get so tatty, so damaged that it's more cost effective to do that than it is to rebind and repair the books. So that's what we have here, just two engravings from a large volume of works. The full volume, I've seen different prices for £500 to £800, something like that. These prints I think were maybe £10 or £15 each. That's quite staggering to say they're 18th century, and I've quite badly framed them up myself, but I do like having them here in the hall. It means I can go and look and see the gatehouse, see the abbey every single day. These next two, they're again copper engravings. They're more tenuously linked this time. They've been put together by me. So the first one is the west view of Roche Abbey near Tickhill in Yorkshire. That's what the title is, and it's dated to 1725. This is published by Samuel Buck, and again it is from a volume, Buck's Antiquities of England. It's quite lengthily inscribed, "To the Honourable Sir Thomas Sanderson, Knight of the Most Honourable Order of Bath, this prospect is humbly inscribed by his most obliged humble servant Samuel Buck." This abbey was founded in the 1147, as we've mentioned before, and now belongs to the Honourable Sir Thomas Sanderson. This was the third Earl of Scarborough. So the Earl of Scarborough owned the Roche Abbey site at the time. I'm not sure if that's still the case. I know that Roche Abbey is managed by English Heritage, but I think it is still listed as being privately owned. I presume that's by the Earl of Scarborough. And this engraving of Roche Abbey is much more in the style of a sort of an architectural elevation, just showing it sort of head on, which I quite like. I think it's quite an appealing way to set that out. And it shows the two Gothic transepts, and they're almost at full height. They pretty much are at full height to what they were when they were built, which is nice to see that still today they're at that height, which is why they're so imposing and so impressive. The other engraving I paired with them, that's of Sambeck Park, which is the seat of the Earls of Scarborough. So I thought these two sit quite nicely together, and I've done a better job of framing these two. Well, I've not actually done it myself. I actually paid to have these two framed up because I think they're a little bit earlier and nicer engravings than that pair. Now in terms of value, the Samuel Buck engraving is quite a bit earlier than the other two I showed you, but still it's been broken down from books. So I would say it's probably 50 to 80, maybe £100 if I got really lucky. The Sambeck Park engraving, you do see quite a lot of those around, so probably only 20 to 40. I think I paid about £100 to have them framed, so if I put them through auction now I'd probably definitely lose money, but it doesn't matter, they're on the landing now. I think they look really nice. Now you see lots and lots of prints of Roche Abbey, you see lots of postcards, and that's all good and well, but where my obsession lies is in ceramics. That's what I'm really passionate about collecting, mostly porcelain, but I'm interested in all ceramics. So when I saw this, I got quite excited. Now of all the things I'm showing you today, this is the latest. This plate was circa 1820, and it shows those two Gothic transepts of Roche Abbey, and then there's a little figure with those two donkeys by the stream there. But what I did want to go, one of the reasons I wanted to go down there is see how accurate this depiction is. And the Gothic transepts, they're quite good, but the stream's on the wrong side. But I think it's a bit of artistic license. And it probably shows us that the chap who did the transfer for the series might not have ever visited Roche Abbey. He might have in fact been working from either one of those engravings or some other engraving that we've talked about. So it is pottery, as we've said, or more specifically it's pearlware. If we look in the foot there, you can see that this lovely pearly glaze has just pooled and gathered in there, and that's what gives it that lovely sort of bluish hue. And this border there with the flowers and even some little pineapples as well. Look. This is known as the Pineapple Border series, and they call that because nobody really knows who manufactured these plates and dishes. And you get all sorts of scenes, different abbeys, all sort of rural views. This one on the back is just printed Roche Abbey, Yorkshire. I've seen dealers selling items from the Pineapple Border series online and have attributed it to John Mears' Greengates factory at Tunstall. There's no definite evidence of that. I think that's just a best educated guess. But to me, it doesn't really matter that it's not truly attributed. The fact is, it's a nice view of Roche Abbey on a pottery plate, which for me is good. Now this was part of a private collection, and it was a local chap that I knew. He had a collection of fabulous Worcester porcelain, but amongst it this, I think again, for me, he enjoyed it because it was a local scene. But this chap, in fact, was responsible for getting me interested in ceramics. He used to bring me his Bonham's catalogues when he was buying Worcester porcelain, so I owe him a great debt. And when I saw this, I mean, it linked the two. It had that nice provenance of somebody I knew. It was a nice sort of nostalgic scene, something that has links with me and its pottery. So it's a good buy for me. I forgot what it cost, probably £30 or £40. Some English pottery is a bit down in the doldrums when it comes to the market. But again, that's value and attribution to me is not really important. It's just a really nice thing to have. What I really do hope to find one day, as I've said, is a painting of Roche Abbey, or if I could find some hand-painted porcelain, perhaps a piece of Rockingham. I think they exist out there somewhere with Roche Abbey on there. So that's the aim, and that's what makes collecting so fascinating and so exciting. It's that thrill of the chase and that hunting these pieces down. So that's me signing off for 2018, the last video of the year. One other thing I did want to mention, somebody did contact me to say, how much does it cost to subscribe to your channel? Well, the answer is it's free. It's free to subscribe to any YouTube channel. Just click that subscribe button below if you want to do so. Also, if you click the notification bell just next to it, you'll get notifications to your device to tell you when I've uploaded a new video. Also, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, and I'll see you in the new year, 2019. We'll be back in the sale room. Have a good new year.